Welcome back, listeners, to Learning from Friends. This is Cade Curtis, your tour guide. It is a pleasure to have you with us here today. You're spending it morning, night, midday, who knows? But I appreciate you coming back and listening. Now, to start out, as you all know, for the segment of my mom's quotes that she sends me each week, this is the one that she's sending me from Angela Pruce. Being a teacher, it sticks to my heart for this one, and her being a teacher as well. But here goes the quote from Angela Pruce. Make no mistake, this world needs all types of children. The quiet, easygoing, peacekeepers that sit still and observe. The loud, shake it up, feel it deep, change makers that are always on the go, and every unique soul in between. Great quote. I love listening to that. I think about that every time I walk into my classroom, and I have some students that I hear speak every day. I have some kids that I have that maybe speak once a month. They're all important. And that's the one thing that I love. My mom sent me that one to remind me of this. In the near future, I'm actually going to start recording this segment with my mom actually reading the quotes for us to kind of add in. So that's something to look forward to in the near future. But the topic for today, just go ahead and jump on in here, is after speaking with our former guest, Robby, about the University of Georgia football, I decided I need another perspective. I need another type of, football section to kind of add in here. And one of my good friends is a huge University of Florida fan. And so I was like, okay, this fits. Georgia Florida Rivalry. So today we're going to be discussing his side of the story of his fandom of Florida Gators football. And this is my good friend, Ryan, and I look forward to sharing this time with you. Ryan, welcome to Learning from Friends podcast.
Good afternoon, and it's great to be on your podcast. As you see, I am wearing the Gator gear for today.
He is.
The better gear.
I love getting the two of you and Robby and together and just kind of talking. You guys just throw it back at each other.
God bless Robby. I may give him a hard time at Georgia, but with all due respect, Georgia fans, congrats on your national championship. I'm just going to say it. I didn't like it, but congrats. That's all you're going to get from me for the year. I still hate your guts. Go Gators.
Oh, man. Gotta love it. Gotta love the bitterness and anger that can come from this. But Ryan, no one in this, people from this podcast that have been listening to it probably know who you are, that are local. But for those we're in 8 different countries now.
8 countries?
We're in 8 countries now in this podcast.
Like, darn it, we're going to go more international. We're going to go. Are we in Thailand by chance yet?
I don't remember that one popping up yet.
Well, let's go to Thailand.
That's good. Yeah. So the people that have no clue who you are, introduce yourself, Ryan. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a short, if I'm reading a Wikipedia page, give me a quick summary.
Do you want the edited version or do you want the...
I need the edited because we are a PG audience here.
Oh, we are PG, yes.
My mother is listening to this. You got to be kind
hello,
of courteous.
Hello, Miss Curtis. You're such a lovely mom to Katie's. You raised them just right.
So, PG version here. Let's get this rolling.
PG, I was born in Tallahassee, of all places. Seminole country, yet I became a Gator fan. Who could have thought that, considering my entire family, outside of mom and dad, are Seminole fans? So that's always a lovely time at Thanksgiving, just like Georgia and Georgia Tech fans are. Moved here back in 95. Hey, that was a great year to move here in Georgia, if you know what I'm saying.
Ooh, Braves country.
Do the tomahawk chop right now.
And also, go Braves for winning the World Series this past season.
Oh, that was such a good time. Being there at the stadium watching that live. Oh, that was a great night. You all got some sleep that night's the question.
That's true.
I moved here in 95 and grew up in Cartersville ever since.
And how do we know each other, Ryan?
By our good friend Daniel Murphy. How you doing, Daniel? Hope you're doing good out there.
Look forward to having you on the podcast in the near future as well.
Near future. It'll be a fun time for him.
Yeah.
It'll be an interesting subject to talk to.
We'll see what he decides to talk about. That's the nice thing with Learning from Friends. It's all about what you choose to speak on. So we met each other through Daniel post-college.
Post-college, I want to say, I think we're going on maybe 12 years now. We've known each other, but I'd say over the last 6 years, we've come way more closer and friends. I mean, that Colorado trip was a...
That was a doozy. That was a good bonding experience. And I definitely feel recently, having started doing this bowling league with you, shout out to AMF Woodstock, Thursday Night Doubles, for those that are listening.
That Super Strike party is going to hopefully turn it around and get that hot tag in the end.
Hopefully we can. But that's been, for me, a really tighter bond as well. To be able to get to know, speak with you a little more, go to practice, and spend kind of time with each other. That's been a true pleasure for me to get to spend more time with you, because really, for a while, it was just kind of like, okay, Ryan's here with Daniel. Okay, I see you, but we haven't really had much time to really talk with each other. And I'm the more talker. You're the more like kind of quiet, reserved back at times.
The one that sits back and is he awake or is he a sleep person?
Yeah.
I'm actually awake, just listening and reading the room.
Yeah, you really are good at doing that. And through wrestling, we really got to do a lot of good talking that way. I think bowling's been that really big peak for me.
Is that nice? The final, they say, nail to the coffin to the friendship.
Yeah. Puzzle piece.
Puzzle
like
piece,
that,
yes. That may be the better term instead of being death.
Yeah, true. But no, yeah, I think this has really been a good foundation for us. So that gives us a little introduction. Anything else you want to add before we go into our lovely topic of Florida Gator football? One of your favorites?
I got nothing currently. We could talk about some Gators and how much better they are than Georgia.
Oh, man.
The Gator Nation is broad out there. You could be in California. You can see someone walking down the street and they just mutter 2 words to you, "Go Gators," and you will look right back them in the eyes, smile, and go Gators right back at them. What do you do with Georgia fans? You just wolf at each other?
Oh, man. I'm going to stay unbiased here. I'm trying to remain equal opportunity here, even though I'm a University of Georgia graduate, but I'm going to try to remain neutral grounds and not be snappy back here.
Didn't I text you congrats that night? Or was I dreaming? Because it was a nightmare for me.
Okay. Oh, man. So we're just going to go and
jump in. Welcome to my
here.
personality, gentlemen.
This
and
is
ladies.
True. He does have he likes to poke and fuel the fire here a little bit. So what was it that got you into watching Florida football? Did you watch it with a family member? Did you go, what kind of got you started?
I've always been against the grain person. My dad was a Gator fan. I just remember sitting there as a child in Perry, Florida, just outside of Tallahassee and Taylor County, watching Florida games. Don't remember much about it because that was the beginning of the Steve Spurrier era, so they weren't exactly great. They were starting to get good. I just remember watching with him growing up, loving the old ball coach, watching them hang up like 59-0 in Georgia at Athens. Fond memory that I don't remember. I just love looking at the score and laughing.
Steve Spurrier, man, the thorn in everyone's side in the SEC.
The ultimate trash talker extraordinaire.
Do you remember anything of the first game you ever watched?
I think the first game I actually remember was during, I want to say, mid-90s. It was Darren Wolf, I remember, as the quarterback. I can't remember exactly what year, but I think it was the year of this first national championship with Spurrier.
Okay.
Remember bits and pieces because I was only 8 years old, and everything's a sponge at that age, and you will forget it 15, 20 years later unless you keep thinking about it.
That's true. What was the first game you went to?
First Florida game I went to is, I hate to say this, it was the Peach Bowl against Miami when Charlie Strong was the interim head coach after we just fired Ron Zook. Right before we hired Urban Meyer. My dad got tickets for Christmas for the family. But he bought the tickets before the news broke about Ron Zook getting fired. I remember going there, and we're just both going, okay, they're going to play, but who really cares? We're more worried about Urban Meyer coming in because he came in from Utah. We didn't know what to think of him at the time. We just knew this
small school
innovative offense. Alex Smith was their quarterback and future first-round pick that year. We had a lot of questions. We were excited about the future, but we were also quite nervous.
How many have you gone to in person over the years?
I've gone to 4 games for Florida. 2 here, both the Peach Bowl, because when it's your backyard, you're going to pay a ticket price. You don't care. And 2 in Gainesville, which I just went to the last Florida State game. I was in front row, and you almost saw my big head on television from one of the touchdowns. I was mad that they edited it out, cut it right for me, because I was going like the money maker, dollar bills thrown in the air as he's throwing the pass.
Oh, man. That's beautiful. And then they edited you out.
I know. ESPN, you're missing your opportunity for the great star.
got a good face here. You've got a good memorable activity for it. And I'm sure you were just, it took it away. Took away
all this personality they're missing out, man.
Maybe you're saving your 15 minutes of fame for a little bit later. Maybe that's what they were trying to do, is trying to save you.
What I believe is they're saving this beauty for radio.
Ooh, save it for radio. That's fancy.
I mean, this silky smooth voice, what's not to like?
That's true. Now, there's a lot of traditions with every university. What are some historical traditions, whenever, for the University of Georgia, it's Georgia Bulldogs, and then the whoo whoo whoo, and
God,
lining up.
I hate that wolf on every kickoff. Sorry, Georgia fans, with all due respect, that's just one of the worst cheers outside of the Suey Razorbacks out of Arkansas. Congrats, Arkansas. You have the worst cheer of all time. But Georgia, you're right there with them.
And personal opinions.
Personal opinions. This is a Florida fan. I will show my anti-Georgia at all times.
So what are some of these chants? What are some of these traditions? Because we probably have listeners that do not know anything about Florida football.
We have something called the Two Bits chant. It started by Mr. Two Bits years ago, I think in the 60s, if I remember correctly. It was just a chant that started 2 bits, 4 bits. I keep forgetting it because I never really hear about it till the very end. 2 bits, $1, and it ends with "Let's Go Florida." And we have at the beginning of the fourth quarter, "Won't Back Down." It's played throughout the stadium, and everyone is just singing at the top of their lungs for that song. It's quite magical. I do have a video on it from when I went there, but it is a beautiful, beautiful thing to witness.
They have at the University of Georgia, I'm going to reference back to the University of Georgia because of that episode previously before, just to connect it together. I'm not trying to be biased here, but just trying to connect the episodes. They have ringing the bell after victories up at North Campus, and they have the dog walk leading into the game. Do y'all have anything along those lines?
We have something called the Gator Walk. Original names, aren't they?
Oh yeah, gotta love it.
It's literally from their student center to the locker room. It's 5 minutes, but it is packed to the brim, just like Georgia is. I looked at getting a ticket for the Gator Walk, but they charge, I want to say, over $100 was the look.
You have to pay to go to the Gator Walk?
For the VIP.
Oh, okay, VIP.
You can get there and get the free one, but you got to get there 4 or 5 hours before the game actually even remotely gets close, just to get a decent spot. So you can, maybe get a signature from a player or coach, or just even to high five their quarterback coming in. But it's a unique experience, just like the dog walk is.
When they're coming in, does the band's already out there play? I'm guessing that the band's kind of going through and playing certain tunes, like your fight songs or anything like that.
They play the fight songs as they go in, and then kind of diverge off a little bit so they can actually walk into the locker room, because the locker room is essentially right off the street. Kind of weird looking at it, but I want to say it's a good quarter-mile walk from the beginning and end.
What is the name of the stadium?
It is Florida Field at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
With Ben Hill Stadium?
Ben Hill Griffin.
Who is Ben Hill Griffin?
It is one of the players and coaches from there. Eventually, it's going to be called probably Steve Spurrier Stadium or Steve Spurrier Field at some point. That's something to be something later in life. I see probably next 5-10 years, probably something will change. They're always adding more stuff to it.
Yeah, you got to, as it kind of continues in growth, you want to be able to kind of continue traditions along those lines. So that makes sense. Do you have, being yourself at home, what is your traditions game day that you do with your family or yourself?
Traditions is generally, depends on what time the game. If it's at 7 o'clock, I really will do my regular day till about 4. Kind of start shutting down, looking at scores for the game that's happened for plays. If Georgia's playing at 12, depending on who they're playing, I will watch some of the Georgia games, or I'll watch a Miami, whatever's on if I have nothing to do. Then about an hour before kickoff, usually order a pizza, start prepping, put on the Georgia shorts and shirt, and just get ready for the game. Unlike last year was, oh God, we're playing again. Let's see what this roller coaster of emotions happens.
That is definitely true. Do you have a specific shirt? Like some people wear, hey, I wear the same jersey every week.
Oh, superstitions. Yep. Be darned. If we beat a good opponent, I will wear the same shirt and I'll try to wear the same outfit exactly to a T for the next week.
Oh, wow.
I am superstitious as can be, and I will stay superstitious. So if Florida, let's say, beats Georgia next year, and I'm wearing a particular shirt and shorts combo, it'll be the next game I'll wear the same thing.
Hey, I don't blame you. It's one of those sports fans. We all have our little things that we do. Particularly, I have this pair of pants that I wear 90% of the time to 90% of the time to most Atlanta United soccer games that I wear.
Yes.
I've worn them for 4 seasons, and I wear them when I'm at home too, watching the game. Everyone has their little superstitions for it, and it's just that's my thing.
And to Renee, didn't you wear that for the MLS Cup?
Oh, you darn tootin' I did.
Hey, boom, right there. We're
Right
done.
there. It
It's
makes
proven
plays.
work.
So coming back off, they had the superstitions. If I was going to the stadium, we did have mentioned that there was the Gator Walk. Am I going to see a Gator? That's what I want to know.
Oh, the campus is in a swamp. There's a reason it's called the swamp.
Okay.
The old ball coach dubbed Benny Hill Griffin Stadium the swamp because it was actually built in the swamp. The whole campus in the swamp. There's gators everywhere in these little bitty lakes around campus. So there's a good chance you walk around, you'll find a gator.
Do y'all have a special named one that you can point out that one's Jimmy or that one's George or anything of that
Personally,
sort?
I don't know, but I won't be surprised. There's some college student go, oh, look, there's Richard over there swimming next to the ducks. Let's go feed him. While it's probably someone going, you really want to do that?
Yeah, because we have UGA at the University of Georgia, and I was like, hey, I didn't know if I don't know that specifically. If
We're
there's a
not that
specific-
crazy like LSU.
Okay. Yeah, having a live tiger on the field, that's pretty intense.
Or can we remember the old fashioned Texas?
Oh yeah.
Giant Ilga almost got killed, which, sorry, animal lovers. I laughed for a second. Then I realized Uga's safe. I don't want anything to happen to Uga. I actually like that dog, even though he's ugly, but he's like that cute ugly.
Aw.
But I was worried for a second for him, so there's
Yeah.
my little heartstring for them.
Yeah, it's weird whenever you get into a lot of this mascots, and that's why I like the people that we have the people that dress up in the suits.
Well, we
that
do
the-
have 2 mascots, Albert and Alberto. Real original name on the girl. Don't know why they couldn't go with something else.
Explain to me Alberto and Albert.
It's Alberto, not
Alberto.
Alberto.
Sorry.
We're not Latin Florida, okay?
My apologies.
Even though you probably will find that in lower Miami.
Can you explain them to audience?
They're literally just 2 gators dressed up in an old school, like orange Florida long shirt and like crew shirt.
Okay.
The old varsity look, that's what they are, except for Alberta is usually in some kind of cheerleader outfit on the game days for football. But they just walk around the stadium high-fiving. Nothing really special, to be completely honest. This is truth. They are not one of my favorite mascots.
And we all have each
Yes.
mascot's a little different.
At least it's not Stanford, who's literally a tree.
A Christmas tree. I think it's a Christmas tree. That's all I'm calling it.
I'm calling it a Christmas tree. It's just a Christmas tree. I mean, I like Penn State's mascot because
Oh, yeah,
it's
the Lions.
engaging.
Yep.
You'll go out there, do dances with the cheerleaders like during after quarters are over. I would kind of love to see more of that for a mascot instead of just walk around taking pictures.
Yeah, I agree. Having that in place goes a long way. For atmosphere, the games that you've been to, what do you consider the craziest kind of atmosphere that you've witnessed?
Probably the craziest one. Actually, I've been to 5 games. I forgot about the Outback Bowl.
Ah,
So I've been to 5. It was Tebow's sophomore year. I went to it was the Capital One Citrus Bowl, I think. It was in Orlando, a New Year's Day game. I can't remember exactly at the time because they've changed like 3 or 4 times. The
the
official
names
name.
constantly change.
Yeah, it's whoever's got the more money here. It's the Tex Slayer Outback Milo Bowl or something.
True.
It was at the now Camping World Stadium. We get there. The stadium's not in a great part of town, like most stadiums now.
Unfortunately.
We get there. Michigan fans are great to party with, great to tailgate with. We just parked, and there were some Michigan fans just chilling, grilling. We talked to them, eat a burger, went to the game together. Probably some of the coolest fans I've ever been with. There was no smack talking before the game, and as soon as that ball kicked, everyone was going, your player sucks, this, but it was like nice, clean, non-serious trash talking. Which
Okay.
I'm like,
What is
being from the
this?
South, Georgia, it's beep this, beep that.
Yeah.
And we're going, okay, this is new. But leaving that game, an Ohio State fan was walking, which I don't know why an Ohio State fan was even there or more or less wearing a jersey. Because both schools hate Ohio State.
Yeah, they do.
My dad had surgery on his knee about 5 days before. He's talking with a Michigan fan walking together, and an Ohio State fan came up to him and started talking trash. I did like he was going to fight. I'm 10 yards just relaxing, looking at the stadium, and I just came to look down. I see him trying to bow up. I was ready to run through him like Brandon Spice against No Sean Marino.
Oh, man. Hurdle him, smack him, knock him straight over.
I was going to knock him straight on, get in his face, and that'd been it. It'd been like a UFC fight, hammer fist, hammer fist, hammer fist.
So ultimately, the Ohio State fan came in, got up all in each other's faces to get settled out, easily.
I just hear my dad say something, cuss word, and I see the Ohio State fan putting his hands up, backing away, and I'm ready. I was already
ready to go because if you defend your dad, who's already hurt as it is.
I had the perfect blindside hit ready.
Oh.
He did not see me behind him. If he did anything, I was going to light him up. It would have been a top 10 nominee.
Now, with that, you now have, that was a very positive experience, very kind thing to kind of sit and witness with Michigan. And then you go to the other end where you have the Ohio fan where it just kind of jumps to the other level. Who are the fans that you hate the most?
As much as I hate Georgia, and there's a nice red hot passion just like your colors, I hate Miami more.
Miami? Okay.
Miami will be in the top 25 and you will hear nothing but, we're back. We're back. No, you're not. You're not even in our discussion. Go sit down in Homestead and wait. We'll keep waiting. SEC will keep winning.
SEC has that. Man, they are the powerhouse. They are the gold standard, in my opinion.
There's only standards, SEC standard.
That's true.
The only one that can probably come close to us right now, and this is a big if, is probably going to be the Big Ten.
Growing into being bigger than 10 soon.
I don't know where the Big 8 now. Yeah, I don't know, but
it keeps growing. And
there's not too many conferences that can compete to the level of the SEC.
It is very true.
We have 5 teams that every year is, this is the favorite. No, this is the favorite. And it's usually right now, probably for the next several years, it's going to flip-flop between Georgia, Alabama, and Texas A&M. I think we're starting to see a changing of the guard with Georgia.
I think possibly Kirby Smart is doing a good job. He brought over those ideas for recruiting, which he got from Saban.
He is one dang good recruiter.
Yeah,
and true. When he kept on denying head coaching scene, that just was proving he's waiting for Georgia, for Mark Ritt. Which all the respect to world Mark Ritt. I enjoyed him at Georgia because he'd bring a little more class to the organization.
Yeah, it was very much a classy organization with it. I'm not saying Kirby Smart's not classy, but he was very much specific values, and that was the way that he played the game.
Yes. Much respect. Didn't hate him at all. I actually respected him. Kirby Smart, I respect him as a coach. Remains to be seen as a likable like Coach Mark Ritt.
Yeah. Kirby has won the big game. Mark never could get the big game.
That was his downfall.
That was the downfall for him. Now, speaking of not being able to get full potential, not being able to win the big game, has there been teams at Florida that you're like, hey, this team has all the potential in the world, but never reached it?
I probably want to say, it was Tebow's last year. Was that 2008, I believe?
I can't
remember off the top of my head. The years, everything's starting to blend together.
He played all 4 years.
Yeah, he played all 4 years. Chris Leak started his freshman year.
Yeah.
Which we can go into a little tangent about that later. There's one instances in that Georgia Florida rivalry.
Okay.
I think everyone will know about it when we get to it. It had so much talent. It was ridiculous. Like, we could run the table. We can go undefeated. And it just did not work out. I don't know why. It just
wasn't there a lot of injuries that year?
Not too many. I mean, every team's assumed you're going to get 2 or 3 injuries throughout the year.
Yeah, it's true.
But there was one year years ago where I think we had like half the team injured, and it was like 2019-ish years. where we still made, I think we made a New Year's Day bowl, but it felt like there was something more left at the table. But the biggest one recently was last year. That was I thought we could come in, not get a playoff spot, but, be in the talks of a playoff. Being one of those maybe they spoil a team. After Alabama, we lost by 1 point.
Yeah, that was
on
heartbreaking.
A ridiculous
that was heartbreaking.
2-point conversion call.
I wanted y'all to win that game. I rarely root for Florida, but man, I wanted that game so bad for y'all.
Mentally exhausted that game. 21-7, like, oh, here we go again. Here's Alabama kicking our butt again. Halftime hit, and it just changed. Okay. A 1-point loss to Alabama at this point, it's not bad. It's not great because you always want to win. But hey, if we play like this second half, we can take Georgia. I'm not saying win. I'm just saying we can take it to them. And we fell flat on our face right after that against Kentucky.
Sometimes you just have those big games where you just show up and things turn around for that short period of time. And then afterwards, it's like, okay, this is the team that I knew was here. We're going back to that. Okay.
That's exactly what happened second half. I'm like, that's the Florida team I knew that could produce this year.
Yeah.
Kentucky happened. I went, did we just quit? Because I saw a bunch of players really not really playing for anything. It was like they were uninspired. Like there was something going on behind the scenes. It was a frustrating year, to say the least.
It happens.
Thank God it's over.
How many national championships has Florida won?
We have won 3. 2 underneath Urban Meyer and 1 underneath the old ball coach.
So that was like 95?
That was 96.
96, and then 2006 and 2007 weren't there back-to-back years?
I'll say 2006 was Tebow's first year. We won a championship 6, I think 8.
Okay, so there was a split year.
Yes, that was the 2007 was when the year I went to the Florida-Michigan game because we had a great offense, but our defense was just terrible. We score 40 points, but we give up 38.
So you've had 3 national championships over your entirety of University of Florida football.
Yes.
That's one more than Georgia has currently.
I think I'll have 3 now.
Oh, wait, you're all right. We do have 3. If you go back in time really far back. The what?
It's just 2. It's our little secret for you listeners. It's just 2.
You look back in history, there's more.
There's 3 there. Yeah. Trust me. 1980 was your last one.
That was the big one.
That was Herschel's year.
Yep, the year that Herschel literally just put the team on his back.
What a hot nail boot. Greatest call of all time to me, honestly.
Larry Munson is just, that's the man.
I think he was on the college football games back also doing the stadium play by announcing for them for the games on the game.
Who's y'all's announcer that you've kind of have that connection to over the years?
Honestly, I don't listen to the Florida Radio Network.
Oh man,
we don't get it up here.
Oh, that's true.
I'm sorry. I'm not paying for Mick Hubert's calls. With all due respect to him, he's a great play-by guy, but I'm just not going to pay him extra money when I can use it for a ticket.
That's true. To be able to save that money somehow. Now the team. Before we go into the rivalries here, who is the team you despise the most? Who do you specifically despise the most? I'm going to throw out here first. I'm going to say Florida State. Then I'm going to go with Georgia. Which one?
Georgia.
Georgia more than Florida State?
Because Florida State's, they're hurting their own selves, and I'm enjoying it too much.
Tell me a little bit about the rivalry here. For Florida State. We'll start with Florida State, and then we'll go to Georgia's.
It's the brother rivalry. Then where I'm from Florida, you're either Florida State or Florida, and suddenly for a little bit you're UCF, but UCF can go away.
No Miami?
We're too far north from Miami.
Oh, okay. Fair play.
So it's Florida State. It's the family affair. As I said, just like with Georgia Tech and Georgia and Auburn, there's a lot of house divided for that.
Yeah, there is.
Going to the last Florida State game, we both were going, well, brother, we suck. But who's going to suck worse?
Sometimes you just have those years, and it's who can tough it out and who can make it work. Do you know the record of who holds the most wins over their rivalry?
I know off the top of my head, Georgia owns it by, I think, 7 or 8 games right now. It could be double digits because I have not checked it in the last few years because of Georgia kind of owning Florida recently.
We have, but hey, you'll always give us a run for our money. And there's been some years where you know that game's gonna be close.
Oh, especially the last game where I went to the bathroom. It's like a 3-point game. I come out of the bathroom and suddenly we're down 24 points. I don't know how that happened.
Anything can happen. That's the fun part with a rivalry game of that tension can arise, the shifting of the tide.
We've both seen, Florida could be the favorite and Georgia can upset, or Georgia can be the favorite several times and Florida would just somehow sneak in, beat them on the last second field goal. That's a beautiful thing. Throw all contention, all your knowledge about the team, chunk it out the window.
Yep, exactly.
Emotion's going to play for that first half.
Entirely. And that's usually what's going to decide SEC championship game. Who's going?
Yeah, for these, it's usually Georgia, Florida
right
for the last, I'll say, good 20 years.
Oh, easily. Easily. That's been the domination of it, to be able to hit between the two. Now, I asked Robby about this one. I want to hear your perspective on this of with the game being in Jacksonville. Is that truly a middle grounds?
It's truly, to me, a middle grounds because you're just closer to Athens as any other place for a nice neutral field. Because if, let's say we go to Atlanta, that's, 2 hours, an hour and a half away?
Depending upon traffic, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, it could be about 2 hours, maybe. If I time it correctly, use the right route in my head, I can probably make it an hour and a half. So I understand some of that. But there's really no true neutral field between them. But a lot of people use that as a vacation. A lot of people take the whole week off, go to Jacksonville, go to the beach, and that's their vacation for the year. They'll come in on the Saturday before, since there's a bye week for both teams now, and leave that Sunday morning. Would you rather go to Jacksonville or to the zoo for Atlanta?
That's a good perk there. For sure to be able to have that little extra space. But I always kind of wondered with that is it really neutral? Is it not? And that's all a personal opinion. That's why I love doing this podcast between the two of you is it's all perspective.
I've heard a lot of Georgia fans, this is not from Robby or anyone in our group. Oh, I want the game to move to Athens in Florida. That'd be a cool thing by all means.
That really would.
Maybe do a one in Athens, one in Gainesville, one in Jacksonville type thing. So essentially the entire class can actually have a game of the rivalry in each stadium. Just to throw that out there.
That would be really neat. Listen to the SEC people here. If you want to start a petition and get this kind of started, I think that would be a good idea.
Hey, I also have free tickets to the game.
Hey, always get a call out somewhere. I always find it. So
just invite me to flip the coin.
Just flip the coin once?
To flip it, walk off, head held high, just like the Breakfast Club.
Oh, man, that's a fist. You got to get the fist.
Just put that fist up and then just slowly bring it down for a Gator chomp.
Oh, man. Ugh. I don't like the Gator chomp. I mean, that's just in general. I don't like the Gator chomp. It's nothing against Florida in general. I just don't like the Gator chomp.
What do Georgia do?
We're really more kind of the bark and a couple other little things. We're not really like a clap down kind of deal.
It's something that may look stupid to the outside.
Oh, yeah.
I understand that completely.
It's
something you have to
opinions.
experience in the stadium. People are like, oh, that's kind of cool. But to the outsider, I can see the argument for it doesn't look good. But I got a question for Georgia fans.
Uh-oh.
How many fire hazards are around the stadium?
That's every stadium. There's tons of fire hazards. You look at it.
And the joke goes over his head.
Fire hydrants. No? What?
Fire hydrants, dogs pee on the fire hydrant. You're a dog, wolf, wolf.
Okay. It went over my head. I'm still... I miss things from time to time. This went over my head. Sorry, listeners, if you're like, I get it. What's your problem on this
Just
cade?
like that 7-10 split.
7-10 split bowling term. Just, it happens.
Don't worry. I'll miss a 7-pin Thursday night.
You will.
This is what
I'm loving some of these episodes that we do get to kind of like cut loose, and all of them are cut loose in some form, but this one is fun to have that little bit of fun banter over commonalities of sports. Sports is
the unifying soul to a lot of people, and that's what Georgia and Florida fans, we may hate each other, but by darn, we love go watching football together. Dan's a big Georgia fan. He's my best friend. We will talk smack about each other's team. But in the day, I'll go, hey, this player's doing pretty good. Hey, this is a good call.
And that's the good sports fans out there. And that's what I like with learning from friends here. If you can pick up, I always give the random lessons of the day of like, not lessons, but takeaways. You can be totally hate each other on that team itself, but be respectful of saying, hey man, y'all did a great job today. That's a great team. That player's phenomenal to it. Learn from each other. Have the opportunity to sit there and discuss it and come away with something different perspective.
By God, I want Jordan Davis in a Falcons uniform. Pronto.
Okay. I agree with that.
If I hear, with the 8th pick, Atlanta Falcons select defensive lineman out of University of Georgia, Jordan Davis, I will flip my lid. Here are some things. I may go buy a jersey if that happens.
Ooh. Oh, man.
We got the pick I wanted last year with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. I mean, thank
I'm
you,
just
Kyle
saying
Pitts.
Jordan Davis will be a fantastic
I
pick
think
for
he
the
may
Falcons.
fall a little further.
I think he probably, I'll realistically go 14, but he had a terrific pro day.
Oh, amazing.
And he blew
Great
up the
career.
combine. He run faster than Patrick Mahomes at the 40.
And that's saying something.
That doesn't scream. Yeah, that is explosion in a nutshell. And that's problems for your guards and centers.
Yep.
He's not an every down lineman, but hey, if you're blowing up tackles and guards, getting a sack, you're putting the offense at a
Disadvantage
second
there.
17, maybe to start with. That's a big hole to climb out of.
That is. We're speaking of, you're talking about players here. Who is your favorite Florida player of all time?
Oh, that's quite easy. That's Tim Tebow.
Why is Tim Tebow your favorite?
His leadership. If you ain't giving the best, he will call you out. He will not call you out in public. He will do it behind the scenes, but he will call you out. He will try to get the maximum effort from you. And you're in sports, that's what you should do every play, every down.
That's why he led him to, was it 2 national titles?
2 nationals.
And was it 1 Heisman or 2 Heisman trophies?
1 Heisman.
Yeah.
1 Heisman. That was the 2007 season. And he was in consideration for
He
3
was
of
in
his
the running.
years.
Yeah. And great. I agree. Great quarterback, great person as a whole. Like night to shine. I've worked in special education for many years. What he did with that, the other organizations that he has been involved with, he gives back to the community tenfold.
And
it's amazing.
I think I got my mother his book that came out years ago, and she loved to read.
Respect him as a human being heavily. Like there's a lot of respect there for him as a football player, as an individual. Is just well-rounded individual.
Another great individual is a little bit of rivalry. Work done.
Oh yes, another great one.
Nothing but respect for the man. He goes out, builds homes.
Yep.
You cannot find one negative thing about the man. And that's hard to do in this day and age where everyone can just pick up their cell phone and they can find dirt on you.
It's true. Everybody's going to try to find something on everybody, and it's out there. That's the thing, in the internet day and age, everything is recorded. Everything's kind of remembered for it as well, and positive, negative.
If you have children, literally pause before you sin.
Yep.
I understand in the height of the moment you want to blast something, scream at the top of your lungs. Take a second, put your phone down, go use the restroom, go get a drink of water, think.
Yep.
Because if you're ever one of these athletes who may be looking at a scholarship, that may take away your scholarship or a high draft pick.
Also, any career job you want to go into, scholarships down the line, they have employers have access to accounts to be able to see back on any figure. So,
yeah, go look at the Guardians of the Galaxy director. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Someone found tweets he put out when early in his career were highly stupid. Admit it, but it almost cost him his career. Yeah, just from him trying to make a joke.
So yeah, think twice before you say anything that can be recorded or posted up long term. Good kind of a positive thing to take away from the episode as well. So that's explained to me. We're jumping back into Florida football of the importance of the spring game. What's the importance of the spring game?
And it's the first time you actually really have kind of a game speed atmosphere in your scrimmages during practice. You're not going really all out. You're not trying to take off your opponent's head. The spring game, it's a glorified game, but it's controlled. So usually you don't have big injuries. There are the freak accidents that do happen. But it's one of those, okay, let's show our fans what we're working on. And it's really just a fun day. In general, usually there's concerts happening for every college, like the G-Day games coming up. Usually there's someone that comes in. I think last year y'all had Ludacris come in and do a concert.
Yeah, the night before.
Yeah. Florida is, as we're recording this, is in 2 days, so I'm excited to see that. It's going to be on, I think, ESPN this year. It's an 8 o'clock game. I just saw pictures of them spraying the field and getting it game ready.
Do y'all do a call it the old timers games where the alumni come back and play before the game or anything like that before opening it up?
We don't. I won't be surprised if Billy Napier does something like that soon because he's trying to rejuvenize the
Okay.
program because Mullen kind of left us in a really bad situation where we had several good years and then we just fell off the face of the earth. He's trying to bring back recruiting, so I think we have some recruits coming in. So he's trying to show it off because I think we also have something called Friday Night Lights during our spring season.
Okay.
Where we bring in these big time recruits and basically have a show for them.
Smart for recruiting, to be able to bring it in, be able to have that. So yeah, each university has their own thing. We call it G-Day. What do y'all call it? Something?
The Orange and Blue Debut.
Orange and Blue Debut. I like it.
It's got a nice little ring to it, just like I will give a little credit to Georgia. G-Day does sound a fun afternoon by all means. I'm sure Robby's going to be there.
Oh, yeah. He has not missed in a long time.
As a fact, I think tomorrow night, the Atlanta Braves are actually honoring Georgia.
For their national title.
Yeah, since was a thing.
Nice year to be a Georgia sports fan for.
It was a good Georgia.
Some, yeah.
It was a good Georgia year by all means, and I think tomorrow, their Atlanta Braves is honoring during their day game. So sadly, it's not a night game for a lot of people to attend, and that made me go, "Why do y'all just honor Georgia for a night game on a Friday night? It'd be so much cooler for y'all." But
it's just one of those that they want to have different focuses, different things. So maybe that was just the choice and availability at that time.
Maybe, and I think between Georgia winning the national and the World Series championship, I think it was like 64, 67 days in between.
Oh,
so that was an amazing time for Georgia for those 2 months.
And then you're looking at the Hawks had a really good run in the playoffs that was unexpected.
That year,
yeah,
earlier, like it was June, I think that was that playoff run, maybe July.
Yeah.
So really, like every 2-3 months, there was something big happening for Georgia sports.
It is true. There was always something going on there.
I wish Florida can have that.
Hey, there's some times that you just hit a stride and you just ride with it. Florida will have its day.
Florida's had several championships for the entire sport. It used to be called the Gatorade Award, which goes to the school that had the most or best sports year, and Florida has several of those to their name.
Something that add up to the trophy case there.
The big trophy case.
Y'all do have a big one for sure.
Georgia's got a pretty big one with gymnastics.
Oh my gosh, yes. In girls basketball as well. They had a very good run for a long period of time. And then we've produced a lot of good players out of both programs, have produced a lot of good football players in the NFL that have won several championships. Matthew Stafford just won. So go Matthew Stafford.
I felt good for Stafford. I felt happy for him. You know, playing Detroit kind of steals your soul after a while.
Yeah, poor Calvin Johnson struggled with that as well.
Yeah.
That's why he retired a little earlier.
That's what Emmitt Smith did. He played a little bit too far beyond his years and should have hung it up earlier.
There's sometimes that it's hard to make that decision when you love the game, though. And there's the money on the table, too.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. Hey, but Tom Brady's still playing at optimal amount of potential there.
I think he's going to be on a walker, still throwing 50-yard dimes.
It's possible. It's going to take a lot to get him off the field here.
You know, it's at some point, I'm always surprised that Saturday Night Live makes a Tom Brady joke this year.
They're going to have
Tom Brady edition diaper.
Something along those lines. They're going to have something there for him. There's a lot of material. Going back to Florida, I always have to direct us back. We're going to get back there eventually. We'll get through.
We're taking a detour. We're taking a trip on this podcast. Yeah, we'll get to our destination at some point.
We will. And that's why I do like each podcast is a little different. Maybe. And for those that have been paying attention too on this podcast I'm not sure if it's going to drop in May, June, or July because I record so many episodes in advance in order to kind of keep up. We're in April right now recording this. That's what we're saying. The Florida's spring game is coming up this Thursday, and this is April. We're probably not going to be able to release this until June, July. Like, wait a minute. He's talking about something a while back. So things will drastically change between then. Who knows?
Put it this way. We'll be one more month closer to football.
There will be for those football fans. I use the word now a lot. I just noticed that.
Really now?
The what?
Really now?
Yeah, really. Like now that's come back to.
Now that's a good topic.
In the sense of too. In the sense of is another one that pops up.
Now you're talking.
So what is your favorite piece of memorabilia that you own of Florida football?
For a while, last time I was there at Florida Field, not during a game, just to visit on vacation, I did dig up some dirt and turf from the field when it says keep off grass. I went, is there any eyes looking on me? I didn't see none, so I took a little bit of turf with me. That lasted for a few months till, it kind of thrown away.
You don't have it in a jar? You should put it in a jar.
It kind of got knocked over by cats.
Life happens with it. But
my favorite sports memorabilia, it has to be an Emmitt Smith autograph.
Okay.
I have class.
Hey, when did you get that one? Or how did you get it?
My mother got it somewhere from her job in the early 2000s. She knew a guy that knew a guy, apparently some like Italian mafia maybe. I
Some
don't
weird
know.
connection.
It's one of those, I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just going to accept this autograph and put it on my wall.
Do you have any other autographs that or famous people that you've met from not Georgia, but Florida football?
I do have some of the team autographs from like their fan days that my parents went to. I can't remember the top of the names of them, but they're mostly offensive line, defensive line, and Florida has not really produced many terrific O-line people lately, so it's cool to have some autographs. I have to relook at them, but there are a couple of teams, and everyone lines up, for the head coach's autograph.
Oh, yeah, that's a long line.
Except when Jeff Driscoll was the starting quarterback, nobody was there.
Aw.
I felt sad, then I realized, you're not that good. Sorry, man.
It happens.
I'm just keeping it honest.
Not everybody can be a home run player.
No one can be a Tim Tebow back-to-back. And I do feel sorry for him. That's not just a little...
Big shoes to fill.
You're basically got baby feet versus giant clown shoes.
Clown shoes. Okay. That's an easy joke that I'm going to leave alone. But
what joke?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Something along those lines. This one I know is going to be a hot topic. I got to know your opinion here. This is what's going into this season. What is your stance on players getting paid for their likenesses?
The schools are getting paid millions of dollars for jerseys, like 1.5 for Florida, 3 for Georgia, and et cetera, 11, whatever Herschel's number was. They're making $1 million off of these players, these student athletes, yet they don't get a dime. That's a big infringement to me. That's just stealing their name off of them and selling it to whoever wants it. So I love these new NIL deals are coming out for the players. If you're highly recruited and you are people buying their jerseys and it's just this 3 and it's blank, we all know who you're talking about for that team. Or for 97 for Georgia, for Jordan Davis. If you buy a 97 jersey and it's blank, we know what you're doing. We know that's your player. Just like Florida with 15. How much money they made up off them, they should get a piece of the pie. They should get a little cut. So anytime there's in this new NIL that's coming out, I love it. Let the players get a dime because they can't really take a donation from anyone. Let's say, Cade, you're a student athlete right now. I can't give you a pack of jelly. That's considered a fraction, a violation for the colleges. Even though I'm just trying to give you a little jelly for your biscuit, or buy you a Coke, or tea, or a dollar burger. They can view that as an infringement, a violation for NCAA tournament. And it's a complete joke to me. These days are hypocrisy of itself. They want to take all the money and give the players nothing for their efforts. You know how much money Tim Tebow probably made millions of his name while he was at Florida. And same thing with Trevor Lawrence when he left just now. You will see billboards blasted everywhere for up here for Trevor Lawrence. Yet he didn't see one dime from any of it. Yet the ticket sales, the merchandise, you're all going to see a certain player. And you're going to see your team, but a lot of people, if there's that once-in-a-lifetime player, they're going to go see him. I went to the first game at Ben Hill Griffin just to see Tim Tebow. That was his last game at the Swamp. I wanted to go see it, and I never could afford a ticket. So we found a ticket, and we went. I wanted to go see Tim Tebow. I saw him. The school makes millions of dollars of it every game, and yet the players get nothing till just last year. And it's a complete joke.
And I'm glad that, again, this is the point of you have that freedom to make that statement on it. And I'm glad that you were able to vocalize your opinion there. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Let the players get paid for their likeness. Just like college, since this NIL come out. How many people played the college football games growing up?
That's true.
They had a big suit with years ago before they stopped making them.
EA Sports, wasn't it?
Yeah. EA Sports. I hate that company itself. They took their name and likeness of every player, made it look just like them in the games, but yet none of the players could get a dime off of that. That's how many millions of dollars in sales every year they made. But yet you can't give a player $1,000, $2,000. Even the smaller schools, if they had their likeness used, didn't see a dime. Now, with that being said, when recruiting, we all know some colleges will pay a third party to get a player to come, be a new car, new shoes, their family member getting a new job or a new house. There's ways around it. Every major school does it. An open, kept secret. But now, hopefully, this is leveling out the playing field for some schools. It may be unfair for some because like Texas A&M or Texas, both schools got old money. They have some deep pockets in their boosters. They can
As they pay out their coaches like every 2 or 3 years if they don't like them.
pay out their coaches, and they can help get that player with a certain company. Just like Jordan Davis, I think, signed a $900,000 NIL deal with like an attorney, I believe, here.
Oh, wow.
He's got a billboard somewhere on 75 past Turner Field or Georgia State Place now.
Okay.
And Anthony Richardson from Florida, I think, has $1 million NIL deal for something in Florida. I can't remember the exact business, but it's a ridiculous number, and I love seeing that. They're getting rewarded for their use. It's fair now.
Yeah. And as we wind down here, I want to give you the opportunity to anything that you would like to open up, any words of advice or anything that last minute that we have not thrown out here on the table.
Well, just like listen to your teachers, listen to your elders. Go talk to your grandma, your granny, your grandma, your grandfather. They have wise information. You may not think that, may think maybe they're crazy, but they have some words to give. Your teacher will have some words to give because guess what? We've been through some stuff. We kind of know what you're going through in some aspects. We can help guide you to the right area or let your feelings out in the right way.
Wow. Thank you for saying those words. It's a beautiful thing hearing that, and you need to hear it over and over again. And because there's some of our audience members that we need each other to really get forward in life. And it doesn't necessarily have to be teachers. It could be, as you said, family members. It could be friends. As learning from friends here, I learn something new each week in each episode because I ask. I'm curious.
You can always ask. The worst answer is the one you don't ask.
Yep. The worst someone can tell you is no.
Yeah, and that's just a 2-letter word. You can just move on and ask someone else. Everyone struggles with something.
Yeah.
I have my own personal demons, and I'll reach out to people and help it.
Yep. Always ask. And that's the hardest thing to do for some people, just to be able to reach out and ask for help. It's a hard self-advocacy is hard for any person to learn, even if you are a week old to 150 years old, whatever. It's being able to ask for help is a hard thing to get past. And I recommend put yourself out there. You never know what you're going to find.
I work in a nursing home. I will spend every day a couple hours just listening to the residents, listen to them talk.
And that goes a long way.
A lot of good stories, a lot of good talks with them. They're all sweet, caring individuals. They just want to talk to people. And if you're struggling with something, reach out.
There's a lot of resources out there today that were not there before.
There's a lot of resources that are just now available because of the pandemic.
Yes, that's true. Being able to do teledoc appointments as well for people that are afraid to go into offices. Yeah, I mean, that's one big one, but there's also...
I had a pretty big depression episode to begin the pandemic. So much more came out from it. I came out so much better just by talking to people. I used to fight my battles by myself. It's not a good way to go. Please reach out and talk to people. It could be just, hey, you're having a bad day. That one person may listen, or go, hey, let's go to Pizza Hut or someplace just to get out of the house, talk.
Strong words, powerful words. That's a big deal.
I may joke about Georgia, but y'all got a beautiful campus by all means. I just like poking fun at Georgia.
Oh, as life, you got to have a joke, man. You got to have fun, and we're all different, and that's just, we know we're not gonna, like, we say we may get at each other's throats, but we're not physically at each other's throats. Like, it's metaphorically speaking.
Wait till Saturday and let's see what happens with Atlanta United.
Oh man, Atlanta United versus this week is
Kansas? No.
But Atlanta United sports.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati. Yeah, that's fun. Get out, have fun with sports, have a conversation. It doesn't have to necessarily be sports. It could be authors. It could be, find something you're passionate about. There's a community out there to discuss it with. That's the cool thing at the end of the day. There's everyone has their own joys that finds the world. Find your people, and it may take you weeks, months, years, but your people are out there. Something to remember. That's the thing I always tell my middle schoolers is, yeah, this is an awkward period of time in life. Your people are out there. Just give it time.
Middle school is so awkward. So many hormones are going through. You're growing at an exponential rate. Primary school, I think I grew 1 inch one summer.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That made it very awkward trying to buy clothes. And I was that one big goofy where I was 6 feet tall by the time I was 6.
Oh, wow.
So everyone was like at my navel belly button area. and I was a giant among kids. And I got bullied horribly because of that. I got bullied all through school. But if you're getting bullied, please, for the love of everything, talk to your teacher.
And talk to your parents, talk to a counselor, reach out to somebody. Somebody we'll kind of, if we can't directly help you, we're going to help find somebody that can directly help you.
The answers will be found.
Yeah, they will be found. Ryan, thank you for coming on the podcast. I deeply appreciate getting to spend this time with you for the last hour every week. Thank you for spending time with bowling. I thank you for our friendship for the last 12, 13 years and continue going forward. It's a pleasure.
And if I can give one piece of advice for everyone, love each other.
Yep. And don't forget, as you are leaving out here, to like, subscribe, tell a friend. We are on, by we, I mean Learning from Friends, is on all kinds of formats for podcasts. If you can think of it, it's probably there for like Google, Spotify, Apple. Kind of keep rolling as you find it. Who knows? We are in currently 8 countries. Maybe we can work our way into 10, 12 as it goes along. Ryan has the request of making it into Thailand. So hopefully that will work out for us maybe on this episode or maybe before it comes out. You can find me if you would like to send me a message. I am on Twitter. I am on Facebook. I will put the links at the bottom of the description so you can be able to do that. Also, email is cade, which is spelled CADE, at learningfromfriends.com. I hope you have enjoyed this. It has been a blast. I know it's not a usual podcast episode, but it has been a pleasure, and I'm trying really hard not to crack up right now because Ryan is eating this brownie that is crumbling everywhere, and it's quite hilarious. So as I like to end every episode, most of all, remember to let your curiosity fly high. This is Cade Curtis from Learning from Friends. Hope you have a wonderful day. Catch you next time.